This video is an explanation of how fixed items work. So you have apps that have fixed items. It's indicated by F in brackets, like you can see on this first item, number one, fixed items, F. Computed items are also F, which means fixed. Forex Pay is the same. Circle, and all these benefits and reliefs you can see all have to do with fixed. So what does this mean? Let's take this as an example. Now, when you say fixed items, it means that that item is not changing from month to month. So for instance, basic pay usually is the same every month until maybe every year, maybe you might have an increment. So as you can see from this list in our sample file, most people have from January 2022 to no end. No end simply means we've not put a limit on when that salary will run to, because we don't know what we are going to change this person's salary to if we are to change it, say, in January 2023. So for the time being, you just hold it fixed until the indefinite future. Now, in a case where, so in my first line here, this Alan Todd guy, you can see I've said from January 2022 to March 2022, we are giving him 410. Come April, we've changed him to 450. So it's fixed for those first 3 months, and then it's fixed from April. This should be 2022. Let's change it. April 2022. So it's fixed from April 2022 into the indefinite future at that rate. So what happens is, now when you run your payslips, obviously the payslips are being run for a single month. So let's go to April, because I think April is, okay, let's just run April. Okay, let's do March. So in March, you can see between Jan and March, this guy's salary is 410. So I've already run it, and you can see here he has 410. In April, because we changed the fixed amount here, that from April to the indefinite future is 450, you can see now it's sitting at 450. If we were to run May or any month post April, it would come in as 450. So that's the reasoning of this. Now, that's the idea of the from to. So that's the first two items I've covered. Now there are some rules. You can see this button here called overlaps and this button here called inverted. Those are rules about from to. You cannot have the same month appearing on two different lines. So here, let's say Alan, we have January to March. Let's say by mistake we set this as March, right? Okay, there's a rule that I've set a way for you to know that you're making a mistake, that you can override it. Yeah. So now we have two lines for Alan. Alan now in March can have one of two salaries, and the question is, how does the system know which one you wanted? So this is a mistake. So what happens? Let's deal just with those overlaps. You can either every once in a while click these overlaps to check if you have any such overlaps, or when you close, it will give you a warning. So it will tell you overlapping periods found. An overlap means blah, 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 right? So let's say, okay. It still lets you close, but when you open, if you click on overlaps, it will mark for you. So in this case, you can see it has marked for us there are two overlapping items. So your job now that you can see what the overlapping items are is to check now, what did I intend to do? So here I have January to March, so okay, maybe I intended to have this as April. So when you check overlaps, it will check again, and now it's telling you there are no overlapping periods. So that's what an overlap is. The other error that you can have is by mistake, instead of saying it's running from 2022 Jan to 2022 March, maybe by mistake you select 2021 March. Okay, however that is possible. It will give you a warning. But again, maybe you are trying to make a change and you set this before this one, so it allows you to override it. So now you have an inverted, as in, instead of it going from something earlier to something later, it's now going from something later to something earlier, which is, illogical. So again, if you close, the system will give you a warning. It will allow the form to close, but you can open it up again, and you can click inverted, and it will mark for you any line that has an inversion. And you can check, of course, 2022 cannot come, or 2021 cannot come after 2022, so you can make your correction. So like in this case, we can just come and do like that. If you click your inverteds again, it gives you the message that there are no inverteds, and you're back to normal. Okay, so those are the two errors that can potentially happen. So that's rule 1, no overlapping months. Rule 2, no inverted months. Now, the thing, it's not a rule, but it's something to watch out for. So in this case, you have January to March. Let's say by mistake you put May. You can see that means in April, there'll be nothing, because the system doesn't have, for Alan, any item falling on April, because you can see it has been skipped. So that's what I mean by no missing months. So it's something to look out for. You won't get a warning for this, but when you go to the payroll for April and you run, I put this wrong amount. Let's put this in April. Okay. Yes. You'll see Alan won't have any basic pay. Okay, so there's Alan. He has no basic pay. All these are warnings telling you there's a guy in the payroll with no basic pay. So here's Alan. He has his other items that have been picked from the other apps, but he has no basic pay. Okay, so that's what a missing month means. So we'll just come and make your correction back to April, go back, process the payslips, and it will pick up now Alan. He's I think it's 450, and you can see there is no warnings now, so there is 450. So that's how that's the idea behind the from to, or what we call a fixed. Next time we'll talk about the variable.